everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to the kingdom, my loves. I'm so excited and so honored to be here with you. We have a really special session today with 3 special guests. And as we get started with every single session of the kingdom, I just want to welcome you. If this is your first time ever coming into our community, we have 1,455 people with us. And what an amazing gift we are to be here. So if this is your first time coming into the kingdom, I want you to make sure you type in first time in the chat box, and you will see our entire community welcome you into this family. This is more than just some online program to watch. We are all here together building a strong community. So hello, Kate from London. Hello, everybody. Alton and Shannon, Wisconsin, and just type in where you're coming in from. And today we are in for a special treat. So as you can see, I'm here in a very beautiful place. I've been with some friends here at a lake up in Northern California and getting some nature time. And so this matches our kingdom theme. And so I'm very excited to bring all this wisdom of nature to you. And I have really something special for you today that we don't usually do in this way. So as we begin every single session, oh, I see you. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. So if this is your first time coming to the kingdom, and even if you've been here many times before, I want you to really anchor into our belief statements here. So here at the kingdom, we believe that all beliefs are welcome here. We believe that all biologies are welcome here. We believe in the power of music to open our hearts and minds, and we believe that wisdom can come from many places. And so one of the tenets and the main reasons why I've even started this program is because those of us who've grown up with many different religions and traditions and have learned different things and have become curious, where do we come together to have gratitude, to pray, to drop into a space of community together, to elevate ourselves in a position of love and gratitude, and most importantly, action. And then here at the kingdom, we don't just believe in ourselves as individuals, but we know that we have an expanded definition of self that goes beyond this limited body that we have here, and that we're all connected to one another. And we don't just honor or tolerate each other's differences, but we know that we're stronger because of them, and ultimately we rise together. And so hello, Augie, who's its first time here. Welcome, welcome. I see you can see our community welcoming you. And what we do in every session is we start with either a poem or music or some form of art. And we have a special guest today who many of you know from our kingdom community, who's going to be gracing us with an incredible song. And then I'll guide us through a prayer. And then at the end of our prayer, I will give you 60 seconds to welcome in your own personal prayer. So maybe that's a religious prayer or a spiritual intention that you want to set, and then we'll dig straight into our teaching, a practice, a golden nugget that you're going to take away and share with others, and then an action that you can take with you to bring these teachings into your life. So we're in a full master class here every single Sunday. And hello from Switzerland. Everybody from all over the world. This is amazing. So without further ado, hands over the heart, and let us drop into our prayer. And for those of you who are new to the community, you can always do the traditional prayer like palms together, but here at the kingdom, we like to put our hands over our heart, one over the other, just feeling into the energy of your heart center. Take a breath in and a breath out, and just land in this space with us. Feel the web of the community from all over the world, from Switzerland and Australia to California and beyond. God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you. Thank you for bringing this community together, and thank you for our special guests who are coming in to grace us with their talent and their gifts today and guide us closer to ourselves. Guide us back home to ourselves. May we remember in this practice that our practices are here to help us come back to ourselves anytime we feel lost. And when we feel lost, that we can always look to you to find our way back home. And we can look to this community to remember the power of who we are. May we each remember in the moments of disorder in our lives that it is through the disorder that we find the breakthrough. It is through the breakdown that we find the breakthrough. It's through the disorder that we find the ultimate order with a capital O, that is the gift and the blessing of our lives. I think of this beautiful quote by Bayo Akamalafe that says, "Disturbance is a prayer, an invitation to become something different." So today, may we all open our hearts to whatever is becoming through us. This is your moment now to welcome in your own personal prayer. God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you. Thank you for bringing this community together. And let every word that's spoken today benefit the hearts and minds of all. And may each of us spread these ripples of change out into the world, into everyone we know, everyone we love, and everyone we touch today and beyond. So it is. Ashe, Aho, Salam, Shalom, Amen, Satnam, Awen, Om. Thank you. So here we are. Here we are, grounded in this space together. And I'm just so grateful to be here with all of you. And I want to welcome somebody that many of you who've been coming to the kingdom for a long time know and probably know well. I'm welcoming to our kingdom stage Candida Rose. Candida! Hey, hey, hey.
Hello, hello, Kingdom family.
Oh
Oh
my
my goodness.
God, here you are. Here you are. So,
I
Candida,
am so excited. I don't know what to do with myself.
I know. So Candida's coming in from Massachusetts, everybody. And everybody put your hands up for Candida. You know how we do it. So if you guys are new here, don't forget what we do is we put our little prayer emoji hands up in the chat box anytime something's going on that makes you want to say like yes or amen or whatever. So you can throw your hands up for Candida. And Candida, you wrote to me with this beautiful song and said, I don't know if this is going to be good enough or right, but I just would really wonder if you would listen to this and maybe share. And I listened to the song and was completely blown away. And so, Candida, I'd love for you to just share a little bit with us about this song and what it is that you're sharing with our community today before we begin.
Yes, yes. So first of all, thank you, Justin, for allowing me to be here with you and your community. I love you all. Thank you so much. So yes, this song, uh, it comes from a place in my heart. And last week you were talking about um, creativity and that it's always within us. And I truly feel that this song was given to me.
Mm,
So even though I wrote it, it's not mine.
yeah.
It's a song that was given to me to share with the world. The song is called Love Each Other Through. And I wrote the song last summer during the pandemic as we were all experiencing this separation and all the things that were going on, and also in the midst of the civil unrest that we were all experiencing in this country and worldwide, especially with what was happening with God rest his soul, George Floyd. And so there was so much going on, there was so much chaos, but in the midst of all of it, I saw beauty.
Yeah.
I saw people helping each other. I saw people, my daughter is a CNA, so I saw those frontline people helping others, making sure that we get through this. I saw, through the Black Lives Matter movements, I saw people reaching out their hands and saying, "We love you and we see you." And so I saw that.
Mm,
And so my mantra for last year became, we just have to love each other through this. I sing for nursing homes and I sing for assisted living and even though like they're inside and I'm outside and I'm singing to them, I'm just saying, we're going to love each other through this.
I love this
And
so.
so and so one day, I was walking by the beach because I was living right by the ocean, and I heard this melody. I heard the lyrics, and it just sort of came through me. And I pulled out my phone and I sang into it. And from then till now is this song that I'm here to share
Mm.
with all of
And
you. I
so I
hope
want
you.
everybody to type in love each other through, because that's the name of the song, right? So everybody type that in, because that's
Yeah.
a mantra even for us to feel as a community. Love each other through. So, Candida, without further ado, the Kingdom stage is yours, and I'm so honored to welcome you. Everybody, hearts wide open as Candida sings Love Each Other Through.
In a world so filled with chaos, when all our hopes seemed lost, there are treasures we must hold on to, no matter what the cost. Compassion, kindness, and empathy, if we can only name a few. And for humanity's sake, love's the most precious in my view. We've got to love each other through till we reach the other side. We must love each other through. Now's not the time to run and hide. Let's lift each other up in prayer, 'cause there's always someone there. What we need to do is love each other through. If you ever feel like you're falling, don't be afraid to reach for my hand. I'll be there to lift you to safety. I will help you regain your stand. Yes, I am my brother's keeper, my sisters too. No matter what people may say, 'cause at the heart of it all, I know love's the only way. Yes, we've got to love each other through till we reach the other side. We must love each other through. Now's not the time to run and hide. 'Cause there's always someone there. What we need to do is love each other through. As we travel through this life, we realize we're not alone. As we share our good, open up our hearts, we'll find joy we've never known. We've got to love each other through till we reach the other side. We must love each other through. Now's the time to run and hide. Let's lift each other up in prayer, 'cause there's always some love there. What we need to do is love each other through. What we need to do is love each other through. Let's love.
Candida Rose! Oh, everybody just take a second to feel the energy of that.
Sorry.
Just to feel the energy of it in your heart for a moment. Instead of feeling it like a performance, we feel it like a prayer. And we feel those words, love each other through till we reach the other side. Now's not the time to run and hide. And we show up together in this community. And Candida, I don't know, you obviously didn't see this, but it's just so beautiful, your message. So our sister Kate, who's here from the UK, who comes in with us almost every week, her beloved John at 86 just passed away this past weekend. And your song lifted her spirit and the whole community's spirit as they were loving on Kate and lifting each other through and loving each other through. And so just so you know the gift that this song is to each of us and to this community and what's even happening in this moment. And Kate, we're sending you waves of love. And to
Sending you love.
John,
Sending you love.
passing, and now he'll be with us in all space and time. And so, Candida, thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to share before we close out with you here? We don't want to let you go.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Justin. Thank you to the Kingdom family for welcoming me and for allowing me to share through my nerves, through my fear, as you talked about last week. I can't even, I'm speechless at the moment. I want to say just thank you. Thank you so much. I love you all. I love you all. Let's just love each other through. That's all I can say. It's just
We
let's
love you.
continue to love each other through.
We love you. We love you. We love you. And Candida's going to pop into the chat box with you all now as usual. So she'll see you there. And I'm putting links to all of Candida's information here. So you can go to candidarose.net. And there's also a link to the song. It's candidarose.hearnow.com. I put links in the chat for all of you to listen to that song and hear it and support each other. And so, Candida, we love you. We thank you. And I'll see you over in the chat box.
Love you all.
Love you. Oh, my goodness. And Kate, we're sending you so much love wide and far. And I know you can feel the community wrapping you. I'm so glad that you came here to be in this space today. And I think you'll get a lot from this teaching that we have today. So before I go into the teaching, I want to welcome you because I have a couple more special guests, but they're going to come back later. I want to welcome a couple friends here who I'm here visiting. So this is, what do you want me to call you? Do I call you Boy Untitled?
I'm Boy Untitled.
He's Boy Untitled. So this is Boy Untitled, and this is Kyle Tennyson. These are two of my greatest friends. And we've been here for the weekend enjoying nature and being together. And Boy Untitled is going to sing us a song to close. And Kyle here is he's an incredible coach and leader and spiritual teacher. And he's going to guide us through a special protection practice, a bubble practice, like you called it, right?
Bubble.
Anything you want to, they've been here on the side praying with us. And anything you want to share before we go into the teaching?
No, just thank you for having us. We love you.
All right. So, okay, cool. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Bye.
All right. So that's all coming in a moment. So today's teaching is a very powerful lesson. And our session today is on what is called the power of disorder. But before I actually go into that, I almost forgot something, which is why I made a slide for it, because I knew I'd forget. So this is exciting. We are working on the acoustic music video for Believe. And the song is coming out May 20th, the acoustic version of Believe. I'm very excited. And we're working on a video for it. And the video isn't going to be about me. It's going to be about all of those who we've lost and who are with us and who are a part of our ancestry and our bodies and our minds and our lineages. And so we're inviting you, if you want to send in a photo or a video of yourself either holding a candle and or with a picture of a loved one that's passed on in the last year, then and it doesn't even just have to be the last year, it could be anybody who's passed on. And you just send us a video of you sitting still with their picture or with a candle in your hands or in any version of that. We're gonna put all of you in the community, if there's somebody that you wanna honor, in the acoustic version of Believe video. And so all you have to do is email your photos or videos to hello@justinmichaelwilliams.com. That's hello@justinmichaelwilliams.com, and just do that within the next week, and we will include you in the Believe video. And this is my first time announcing that, so I'm very grateful and excited for you to all be here. And Mark and Kyle, Allison's here, and she said hello. So amazing. So let's get into our lesson. Our lesson today is on the power of disorder. The power of disorder. And how it is that this word, disorder, being out of order, can actually help us grow in our lives into who it is that we're actually meant to be. Help us grow into what it is that we really want. And you know, with my team and in my community and in my workspace, in my business space, I use this concept a lot. And the people who are here, Raylene and other people who are working with us more closely as a team, have heard me talk about this a lot. So one of the greatest lessons that I've gotten ever in my the coaching that I get from my mentors and my business coaches, and everybody's pretty consistent about this, is they say that the most successful people in the world try to achieve a breakdown as quickly as possible. Okay? So the most successful people in the world want to get to a breakdown as quickly as possible. And so it's really interesting because when we have breakdowns in our lives, we usually are trying to avoid them, or we're trying to tiptoe around them, we're trying to band-aid things so that we don't have to feel the breakdown, or we try to pretend the breakdown's not happening, or we avoid it altogether, or we try to numb it with some alcohol or drugs or sex or whatever it is that we do to make sure that we're not feeling the breakdowns that are happening around us, the disorder that's happening around us. And this is normal, we all do it, right? But I learned in business coaching, for example, that when you get to the breakdown, that is the biggest success that you can ever have, because it is only by getting to the breakdown that you can expand your capacity, because you learn what you need to do to fix it. You learn what you need to do to, as they call it, break through. And so this is why you hear so many people saying these concepts like you have to break down to break through, the breakdown, the breakthrough. We've heard these quotes on Instagram, whatever, but like, what does that really actually mean? What does it really mean? And so in the most practical of senses, right? Let's say this has happened with my team many, many times, right? You're trying to launch a program. You're trying to do something new. You're trying to expand your capacity. And what happens is, in the moment of expansion, you hit some kind of disorder or breakdown. And what most of us do is we say, oh, I hit a breakdown, so I should stop. Or I hit a breakdown that means the universe means this is not supposed to happen for me. Or I hit a breakdown that means that, I'm not supposed to be on this path, or I'm not worthy, or we self-shame ourselves. But what we want to do is go, wow, okay, hit the breakdown. Great. Now, what capacity do I need to build? What is it that I need to learn? In what spaces in my life do I need to grow so that the next time this situation occurs, I have built the container to hold it so there's no breakdown? That is, in its simplistic state, what breakdown to breakthrough means. Because in the process of breaking down, you are learning. I listened to an Oprah interview this past week when I was driving here, that she did with this doctor that she's working on her new book with. And they talked about what they call post-traumatic wisdom. Post-traumatic wisdom. It's so after the breakdown, after the trauma, the things that you've learned and you've grown from it expands your capacity so that you can actually function more effectively in your life. You all follow me on this? I get it. Allison says, I love disorder. Sandy says, it's like a caterpillar in the cocoon in the bug soup. So it's not just this thing like the breakdowns make me stronger in my spirit. It's that if you actually acknowledge the breakdown, whoa, this is a breakdown, and you dig into it, you get closer to it, you do the shadow work. Then you don't just spiritually bypass it. What you're able to do is look closely at why there is a breakdown in the first place. And by addressing and healing those things, you expand who you are so that you can show up more fully for your life. This is it. This is it. And so, you thought I was done with the special guests, but I'm not. Because I did an amazing interview that I can't believe I haven't played for you all with Vanessa In, who many of you know. Vanessa In was a special guest who we had on our session on the power of wisdom, and also with Cristi Christensen. Together, I did a really special interview with the two of them about this, about how disorder helps us open up. And this is one of the interviews that I did for Manifest New Year's Eve. And I selected Cristi and Vanessa as voices of hope, because what they're talking about here is something that will help us expand into the fullness of our lives. And so together, I'm going to play this interview, but we're going to all be here together as we engage in the chat. We put our hands up, we type in the quotes that resonate with us, and then we're going to come back for a practice and a song with Boy Untitled and Kyle Tennyson as we anchor disorder into order in our own lives. Welcome, Vanessa In and Cristi Christensen. Hey everybody, this is Justin Michael Williams with Manifest New Year's Eve, and I'm so excited and so honored to share this conversation with you today. And you know, one of my promises for what I wanted to do for these New Year's conversations in particular was to bring to you the people who have made the biggest impact on my life in 2020 and way prior to that even. And two of these women here that I've had the chance to bring together right now are two of just the most magical, powerful, heart-centered, soulful, wise, incredible women that I know. And it's with great joy and honor that I introduce you to both Cristi Christensen, who is a world-renowned yoga and empowerment instructor who has an incredible book coming out called Chakra Rituals this year, and Vanessa In, who is a healer and a leader who has worked with people on the world's greatest stages, people so great that I'm not even allowed to name them, but it just came out recently that Vanessa, you know, has been a big mentor and guide to Pink, and did a great big essential conversation with Pink in which Pink said she wouldn't even be in her relationship if it wasn't for Vanessa. And so with my whole heart, like I feel so lucky to know these women personally and now to bring them to all of you in the community. So Vanessa, Cristi, thank you so much for taking the time to be with all of us today.
Absolutely. With my whole heart, I am so honored. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Loving you both. So jumping right in, you know, Vanessa, I just have a question that I've actually been dying to ask you, and I've been purposefully waiting for this moment so that we didn't talk about it ahead of time. So we're talking about manifesting, right? And we're talking about wanting to create the life and the lives of our dreams. And a lot of people, given what's happened in the world this year, feel out of control, you know, and like they don't know, like, what's even the point of creating a vision at this point? What's even the point of trying to manifest anything when everything, you know, has been for so many people turned completely upside down? What do you say to that?
Oh, wow. You know, this is a really good question. And, you know, there's always this sense of order, disorder, and then reorder. And that is throughout everything in life, including our lives, including the bigger picture and the smaller picture. And so, you know, there's always this repeating circle of order, disorder, or chaos, and reorder, right? And so it's map making. We constantly are making a new map. And so sometimes we consciously do that. We're going, okay, I have this comfy, cozy order, and now I want to get out of my comfort zone. Okay, I feel a little bit of discomfort. And then we go, oh, now I'm feeling feeling comfortable, right? And sometimes it's lovely like that and harmonious. And sometimes we are thrown into tumultuous waves and a sense of the river raging, and we don't know what we're doing, and we're upside down and we're drowning and we're gasping for air. And that is what 2020 has been. So it's been this incredible disorder that needed to happen, right? Everything needed to crumble, all the lies of our personal life, what is not a part of our story, our bigger story of our soul, and all the lies of everything, right? And so now is that through that crisis, now is the real opportunity to go, what do I really want? Not just me, my head, but my heart, my quiet heart, my bigger soul. What is really trying to come through? And so I feel super excited for everybody, and not to diminish the pain, because there's great pain in disorder, and we've been through some of the biggest disorder that I've ever witnessed, right? And so but there's a huge opportunity in this crisis.
Yeah, it's major, and I think I love this idea that you're giving us of disorder to reorder.
Yeah.
And to, when we can, those of us who are still here, have the opportunity to say, what do I really want? And I think when you said that question, I saw Cristi shake her head too. Like, I felt it in my spirit,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
what
that's
do
the
you
thing, is
really
that
want?
we should, when we ask that question, what do I really want? We should feel that sense of awe, both scared, like, ooh, wow, that feels too big, right? Or something, but also like it should ring a bell of truth. And so when both of those are there, we're hitting into the sacred.
So
Vanessa, can you ask it? Can you ask us so we can hear that, listen with your voice? Like, what do you really want? Can you, because the way that you say it, something activates. So I'm curious if you can just let us have that resonance to feel that in our own spirit.
Yeah. What do you really want? What does your soul really want? What does your heart really want? And a part of you knows the answer. Don't worry about anything else.
I love that. A part of you knows the answer. Don't worry about anything else. It's really beautiful, Vanessa and Cristi. As Vanessa said, disorder to reorder. I think probably better than anyone, with you, the amount of disorder that happened because of COVID in your life this year, with the vision for your life of what was happening this year. And so, for context for everybody, Cristi is literally, I'm not being dramatic when I say, like, world renowned yoga teacher, like, travels all over the world, from Asia and Indonesia to Europe and Mexico and all over the United States, teaching classes and retreats. And so her whole work and her whole business was based on in-person traveling events with lots of sweaty people being together, dancing and embodying and becoming alive. And so when the pandemic hit, I just remembered the phone call from you. It was like over and over and over every hour. It was like everything in your whole year was getting completely canceled, and you had a year right in front of you. And within a couple of weeks, it was all wiped clean.
yeah.
And so I'm curious, how have you handled that? And for people who are dealing with that kind of stuff in their own life right now, with that level of uncertainty and cancellation, and thinking about going into the next year, like, what have you learned and gleaned from this experience? And how can you give some hope to people who are listening?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. This was supposed to be like the biggest year of my life so far. Like, I had the most amazing schedule, and I thought completely diverse schedule. I was going to more countries than I'd ever been, and staying for longer periods of time. So not just doing a one-off workshop, but doing trainings and immersions. And it was really, really exciting. And at the same time, I had signed this book deal. So I was like, how am I going to write this book in the midst of all this? But I was like, okay, like, the busier we are, the more we can get done, kind of, philosophy. I'm going to have to get really good at, maximizing my time on the planes. And there was so much, I was like riding this wave of like excitement going into this new year, because I felt like this was going to be my really big stretch and expansive year. And I guess it was, but in a completely different way than I imagined. And I love what you said, Vanessa, about the order and the disorder, because in yoga, there's a very similar concept of spanda, of this expansion and this contraction. And that's how the universe, and that's how our bodies, and that's how our being, goes into this next level of, we could say, of our own evolution. Like, we have to have this biggest contraction, almost a contraction that we think is going to kill us, right? That we may not survive. But from that most contracted or disordered place is actually where we can, break out and expand even larger and shine brighter in every capacity. And I've had to go back to the yogic teachings to remember that, because I was completely disordered. I was completely contracted. I was dealing with levels of anxiety I had never even imagined, because I thought I had built something. I thought I had diversified, and it literally came crashing down before me. And how am I going to support myself? What am I going to do? I mean, all of it. And I know this story is not original. I know many of you listening have a similar version of this. And it took a while. I literally had probably the first 2 months of this pandemic period of being in waves of washing in this. And one of my teachers, Brenda Rose, who's also, I know, a teacher of Justin's, she said to me, she was like, stop fighting it. Stop fighting it and allow yourself to feel it, because you've never been here before. None of us have ever been here before. You don't know how to respond yet. So just let yourself grieve it, grieve the loss. And there was something about that, grieving the loss, because whatever comes next is going to be different. It's going to be anew. And that's okay, because now the slate is being cleared. And again, it beautifully ties back to what Vanessa said, that I can really listen in and honor the whole journey I have done and what I have created, right? And then actually look at it and be like, what about this journey have I just been doing that maybe I was on automatic pilot and I thought I liked, or I thought just because the money was good and I was just doing these things. But instead, it gave me the opportunity to really tune in and be like, what do I really want? And how do I want to sculpt and shape this next phase of my life? Of course, when I started going through this process, late May, June, and continuing over the summer, I didn't imagine we'd still be where we are now. So there's been, different levels of that order and disorder and expansion and contraction of that spanda happening. But I think that clarity of what I am going to put up with, what is my worth, and what am I going to demand? Where do I want to put my energy and my resources? And how do I want to tap in and align and create this next phase, even though right now it is truly still taking shape? I think of everything from this perspective of the map I use is the chakra system. And we have a thought, we have an idea, and it becomes a vision. And as it becomes a vision, we start to paint it in, but we may not have all the details yet, right? It's this broad vision of the direction in which we're going. And then how do we continue to bring that down into an embodied experience step by step and get more refined and more clear and connecting back as it drops into the heart? No. What is it you really want? Not what the mind thinks you want, but what is it that you really want? And for me, just continuing to come back to my body, come back to my practice, to come back to what is tactile, to come back to what is secure, to come back into what I can rely on. And for me, it's my breath, it's my movement, it's shaking my body. It's that constantly coming back to what I can root into and what I know is real. And then use that to set a new foundation to allow this new flood of what I really desire to have even the opportunity to take root and come into more of a manifest form. I know that was a lot.
Beautiful. No, it was a lot, but it took us on a whole journey. It took me on a whole journey. You know what I mean? And I think one of the things that I am wanting to pin and prod into a little bit more, and I'm going to ping pong this over to Vanessa, was something that you said, Cristi, about grieving the loss of what was, right? Or the story of what we thought was. And I think as so many of us are creating new visions for our lives and wanting to step into the newness of what we are, there is this element of what has to be let go of in some way, and how to really process that. And I think COVID has shown us that the letting go sometimes isn't up to you, you know, but we still have to let go of it. So Vanessa, I'm just curious, like how all of that bounces off of you from your perspective in the world.
Yeah, I think that grief is a super important state of moving through and not cheating grief. We never want to cheat the normal grief of letting go, because it's little deaths, big deaths. Life is always about, you know, letting go and resilience and rejuvenation, and sometimes that's on a very super you know, personal level, and sometimes that's on a global level. And you just reminded me like of, you know, when I'm have always been a complete social media phobe and technology phobe. I couldn't even quite get on yet today. It took me 10 minutes, right? And so when in the early part of the year, I had a plan. I had a house that was being built in Baja, a little tiny house near the ocean, and it was a dream come true. And when I had gone there in December, there was this incredible, right in front of the construction site, this sunflower, just one single sunflower. And that meant that my mom was near. And whenever I see sunflowers, it means love. My mom had just passed away 6 weeks before. And it was right in front, and there was only one, and there was no sunflowers for acres and acres and acres. And so some bird must have come along and just pooped right there, right in front of the house. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to, it was going to be done 1st of April. I'm going to move in 1st of April and be there and write my book. And oh, how wonderful. And I can't wait. Can't wait. All of a sudden, what happened was COVID happened, and then everything shut down. Construction shut down for 2.5 months. And so I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? It was like grieving, letting go of, wait, the sunflower's there, and wait. And so what happened was in mid-April, I just started, because I think that manifesting has a huge amount to do with prayer. And I think even the word manifest means to make obvious. So we want to materialize the spiritual, what's coming from our heart, what's coming from our soul. We want to materialize it onto this realm and make it obvious and no longer a secret. And so I just prayed deeply to the universe for hours. And I said, okay, you know, I want to be of service during this time of COVID, during this time. I want to be of service, and I want to do it for free. And I want to do it on the biggest platform that you want to give me. And I did that for several hours. And I stopped, and about 3 hours later, I opened up my email, and the first email was from Pink, from Alicia Moore. And she said, I have this harebrained idea. Why don't you come on my Instagram live, and we'll just chat for an hour, and I'll reveal that you're my secret weapon, and with my marriage and myself and everything. And I immediately knew that was the answer to that deep, profound prayer. And so I said yes. And then I went, oh no, because I'm terrified to have this secret of me.
And for context for people, that I want to say is, like, you for 30 years have been doing these things with like top tier A-list world stage people with no website, never publicly. It's always been super private, like just you and them in their house.
Yes.
And now here's this moment, and Pink's like, do you want to come on Instagram live? And I remember when you called me, you're like, I don't have Instagram. like, what do I do? So that birthing, anyway, continue. But I just,
and so it was
that
exactly
context.
that, Justin. And thank you for that context. You know, it was a birthing. So it was a loss of like, wait, I thought this, I was going to do this. And then it was truly a birthing, but it was a birthing into something that I really wanted. I wanted to take, you know, I secretly wanted to come out to the world, because my work for almost 40 years has been very private. And I wanted to come out and talk about it, but I was terrified also, just terrified down to the nervous bone, right? And so the prayers went, okay, we know you're terrified, but we're going to take you where we need you most right now.
This is, there's a thread that I'm almost just wanting the both of you to talk about a little bit here that I'm seeing between what you're both saying. And it's this thread of letting go of what you expected and being present for what is showing up for you. And the more that we're able to lean in and be present with what's actually showing up in our lives, the more that we're able to actually do with it, whatever it is in that moment. And the other part of that thread that like feels connected into pool is something that people will be familiar with, that we've worked on in the Manifest New Year's Eve and in the workbook. And if you're somebody who's watching this and you haven't been on the New Year's program and you're watching this later, you don't have the workbook, you can just go to justinmichaelwilliams.com and get it. It's totally free for everyone to help you set your mission and goals for the year. And the other piece of that thread is that it's not just about what you're doing, but about who you want to be to the world and to yourself.
Yes.
That seems like a thread that you're both speaking of. So I would love to just like let me step back and like give it to the ladies for a moment and like let you all just unravel that a little bit together. Whoever wants to take the lead.
Well, I'll just start in the sense of talking to the first point of this, letting go and, stepping into what the universe is offering, even if you're terrified, even if that's not what you think you want. And I think that was another big lesson for me. It was, what I thought I wanted was to be traveling the world and teaching all these workshops and retreats and blah, 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 blah. And what really happened was I actually had space to write my book. And I also was terrified to do that, to actually step into that space and get outside of my comfort zone. So that was actually the way I'm looking at it now. Inside the contraction, there was an expansion trying to happen simultaneously, right? The world was contracting in one way, and then this expansion, this new side of me was trying to be birthed out to step into the space of being an author and to take all these things I talk and teach about and actually put them down in a tangible form. And I also could see how much I was actually rejecting stepping into that at the same time, because I was grasping so hard onto what was already lost. So I think that notion of being present, seeing what's showing up and not rejecting what's showing up because it doesn't look like what we thought it should. And that's a continual lesson now as as we're all crossing this threshold into a new year and trying to cultivate this new vision of being. So I'll toss it back to you, Ms. Vanessa.
Yeah, I think that it's really beautiful. Yes, Cristi, I started doing yoga when I was 18 and meditating, and it's been a beautiful journey of, really understanding the flow, right? Like the flow. And now, in this chaos and this reordering, it's like to be in the flow and know that it's okay that everybody's experiencing this, together at the same time. So we're almost like folded into that flow, and the idea of deep prayer is so that you're coming from your deepest place, is to be folded then into the global rebirth, right, of a wiser humanity.
And Vanessa, I want to, before we get too far from that, and I'm so glad you said it again, because I had it hit me. It was another hit into the heart with the truth and the awe of manifesting involves an amount of prayer.
Yes.
Right. And I'm just wanting you to unravel that for us a little bit more of what that might mean, for people. Because I think a lot of people are very familiar with prayer, right? But what does it mean to really pray as we're talking about it in the context of manifestation?
Yeah, I can mostly relate it to my own personal experience. I mean, as you know, I had a near-death experience when I was 4 years old, a near-death drowning, and I had a very profound mystical experience of everything being one, and that we're all like just moving bits of energy, the light, the water, the sunlight coming down. And I just felt like, it was just one big ocean, and that we were all a sense of one, and that, it was all about love. And this was not a cognitive thing at all. This was a deeply, as you're saying, Cristi, embodied, almost like a download. And so I can only speak from that place that when I pray, I first try to just say, I don't know, there's a whole bunch that I don't know, right? Of like what the universe really wants to use me for, to be of service. I know that I can show up. I know I can work hard. I know that, where some of my superpowers lie. And so it's the closing of the gap of those things, and then being very, very present in that, and very having a sense of faith that there is this, everything is just moving bits of energy, all of us and everything and way beyond us. And we're not doing it alone. And so that's where that is what I do when I pray. I just want to be of service, and in the best way that I'm made for.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Go ahead, Cristi.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
no, I love that so much. And Justin and I also share another dear friend and teacher, Sienna Sherman, who I think you're interviewing as well. And one of her main teaching is how can I be a vessel of love? How can I be a vessel of service? And I remember the first time, I heard her say that like 10 years ago, and it's something that has really stuck and has become one of my part of one of my daily practices of when I wake up in the morning. And especially in this time of chaos, of okay, how can I show up to be of service to the highest good, harm to none? And again, because it's just so easy for me to tie it back from this chakra perspective of prayer is what aligns us with our crown chakra. Our crown chakra. Prayer is what brings us in alignment to that deepest place within us, where I think that our personal will and our divine will are lining up. And that if we can get quiet enough to hear what those whispers are, what those messages are, and then bring them down into our hearts, we take this prayer, we take this deep wisdom, and then we activate it in our hearts with the answer of that deepest heart, soul's calling. And then we have the opportunity to take it into action, right? And do something, and it not just stay in the realms of the magical and the mystical, because I think some people think of manifestation of just not what you said about bringing that secret forth to life, or bringing something into the tangible, into the embodied, but it's something that just stays in the ethereal. So I really like this.
Yeah, and this bringing it into the tangible form part is really important, Cristi, and I think one of the things that feels so beautiful, because I know both of you, all of us really, I could say, have deep prayer practices, in our own very special and unique ways. And that the real alignment is aligning yourself with that source, and just following that and letting that take the lead, in every way, and then showing up as the manifestation of that in the world. And I think one of the things that you both had mentioned that I want to key in on with people, because they see people like you, world traveling teachers, author, speaker, working with celebrities, being a guide for 40 years. And a lot of people can see that. And I want to make sure that everybody notices something that you both said. It was, I was getting, the pandemic hit, I had everything planned, and then I had to do something that I was so afraid of. I was so afraid to do. Vanessa, the fear of stepping in to the public light and letting your face and your voice and your stories and the whole thing be seen, and having your very, very, very first Instagram live ever be seen by multiple millions of people, and then Good Morning America calling the next day. And then, Cristi, going from your comfort zone, which is literally the opposite space of being so out there, and then having to completely come in and give it to the page in the most individual, personal way. And the reason why I'm pulling that thread now is I'm weaving this tapestry that you amazing magical women are setting for us, as we're laying kind of this blanket out to feast on of 2021, is that we're going to come across things that we're afraid of, right? And sometimes these shakeups end up pulling us out of our comfort zones in these amazing ways. And then we have a choice right there, which is, do we go to our prayer, and do we know that there's more here to support us and step into that fear and the manifestation that's coming from it, lean into it, or do we choose to fight it? You know, and that brings us back to the beginning of like not fighting what's arising, but leaning into what's in front of you. And so, you know, as we kind of close out this interview, and I feel like, I really feel like I can just go on with you two for a very long time. But for the sake of time, I want to end with this question. When people are dealing with fear, they're stepping into their dream, they're being encouraged through the Manifest workbook and all the work they're doing in their lives, and the podcast they're listening to and the reading they're doing, to dream bigger, to go for it this time, because why the fuck not? You know, when they're being asked to do that, when everything's been stripped away, and they're going for their heart's calling and manifesting it into their physical plane. And then there's the fear. Then what? Cristi, I'll take you first, and then Vanessa, I'd love for you to close us out.
I think one of the key remembrances is that fear isn't a bad thing. Fear is a tremendously powerful energy that actually can propel us forward if we can learn to work with it. And by work with it, we can look at it in a few different ways. Two of them is if we actually turn in the direction of the fear versus trying to push it away and actually see what's arising, it might actually be a great message that this fear is coming up to, wait, have you looked at this? Have you considered this? Right? Like there is great messages in fear at times, right? There's two kinds of fear: the fear that keeps us alive, right? And then the fear that stops us in our tracks. So we want to turn towards the fear, see what message is there for us, if there is one, and almost in a sense, like expect it. Anytime we get out of our comfort zone, right? Anytime we're trying to stretch and expand and enter into the realm of newness and beginnings and where we've never been before, like, of course you're going to have fear, right? Like, of course you're going to have fear. So almost just expecting it. And how do you turn to it and then still move forward anyway? Like, let it have its seat, let it be in the passenger seat or the back seat of the car. Know that it's there, but you are so committed to that deep, like that question. Remember, Vanessa's voice of like, what do you truly want to be? What is that soul's calling? Let that be the fuel to help you to move forward anyway. And the last thing I want to say before I turn it over is that we can also think of fear and excitement of two sides of the same coin. All right, that same energy of what happens when you get excited. Like when you get excited, you also get that tingle in your belly. You also might even feel like heightened anxiety because it's heightened energy. It's that electricity that's coming through us. So how can we breathe into the fear, use that tremendous power and flip it towards that excitement and allow it actually to be fuel for us to move forward anyway?
Beautiful, beautiful. Vanessa,
Yeah,
round us out, darling.
Yeah, hi, baby. It's interesting, both in my personal life, and I call myself a fearless scaredy cat because I'm just scared of like new different things out of my comfort zone, and I think most everybody is. And yet I'm fearless. I'm going to do it anyway with lots of love and empathy. And I've never seen anyone that I've ever worked with, and most everybody I work with is on a world stage, that they all have fear. Every single person. And to me, there's like three ingredients almost, if you think of it, towards manifesting or creating that which your soul really wants you to share in your life or with the world, whether it's one person, 100 people, 1 million people. And those three ingredients are, first of all, you have to be fearless about facing fear, which we see as a negative emotion. But if we go back to that idea of everything is just moving bits of energy, like I had in my near-death drowning, and it's just energy. And so that's the first thing, is that the people that I've worked with are really willing to sit down at the blank page, even if they've had tons of Grammy Awards or Academy Awards or Emmys. They have to, if they're going to really create again, they have to face that blank page. And it's always scary. Will it be as good? Will I be enough? There's always that fear, right? So the willingness to face that fear, to be a fearless scaredy cat, right? And then the second ingredient is to just have a sense of awe, a sense of, however you determine that we're on this planet spinning around in the middle of the Milky Way galaxy and amongst billions of galaxies, or a sense of awe, if you're what you think of as source or God, but just something bigger than your own little ego. And then the third thing is to be of service. Anybody that I've ever worked with wants to be of service, wants to make an impact. Again, whether it's one person, 100 people, or millions of people. And so that's always what I follow too. Yeah. And it's getting into that alignment. And, because alignment, both psychologically, spiritually, and that's what the disorder does, is it's throwing off things that are not in alignment. And then we get back into alignment and get back into flow.
I love that.
This is so beautiful. Yeah, the awe ingredient is magical. Vanessa, I just am feeling into my heart, and I want to request if you will close us out with a prayer.
Yes. May you remember that you're enough. May you remember that at your essence that you were born with and that you'll have when you're 100 years old, that you are enough, that you are beautiful, that it's important that you are here, and that you have a part of this tapestry that is yours to bring forth into beautiful alignment. And that may you be full of accepting grace in your life from the people in your life. May you feel grace from the universe. May you know that you're okay. And may you know that you're made of love.
May you know that you're made. My sisters, thank you so much for being with us, with all of us here today. It's an honor and a privilege that I don't take for granted. And to all of you listening, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and your schedule to allow our voices into your ears. This, again, is an honor and a privilege we don't take for granted. And my biggest wish right now is just that whatever's happening in your life right now, that as you end this video, you're ending it with a smile, like we are. And that it's bringing a little bit more hope and joy and positivity into your life. This is Justin Michael Williams signing out, and I'll meet you right here in this special place the next time we're together. Family. So just take a moment right now, hands over the heart. And we learned a lot from Vanessa and Cristi today. And I want you to just take a moment and scan through all the lessons that they gave us about fear, about disorder to reorder, about stepping into our power and truth, about grieving and loss, and all the things that they talked about in between. And just pick one golden nugget. If there was only one thing that you could remember from everything you learned today, what would that one thing be? And just allow yourself to think about it for a moment. It takes between 25 and 30 seconds for something to move into the long-term memory. And just picking one thing and maybe committing to sharing that one thing with someone you love today, a friend, or posting it online, so that we can each be that ripple of change. And so starting now, open your eyes and type into the chat box whatever your golden nugget was, and we'll see a cascade of golden nuggets coming in. And as we do that, I want to welcome Kyle. Kyle! So I'll sit here so you can come squeeze over. Come on. You got it? I know we're getting in gracefully. Everybody say hi to Kyle.
Guys.
This is Kyle Tennyson. So Kyle is a brother of mine.
Yes.
Really good friend of mine. And Kyle, here, let's get a little bit lower. Can we get a little bit lower so they can see us? Okay, cool. So Kyle is an incredible coach and healer, has been working in healing for a decade, many years.
A decade, yeah.
A decade, and we've been on this incredible trip together with some friends of ours, just enjoying nature and being together. And I asked Kyle, I said, Kyle, can you please guide our community through a practice today? And he was like, I don't know. And I said, no. I said, no, you're going to do it. So
yeah, here I am.
yeah, Kyle's amazing. He's a coach. He guides people through programs that help them break past their limiting beliefs one-on-one and really open up into the life that's here for them. So much of what Vanessa and Cristi were talking about today and how to move through those breakthroughs or those breakdowns so that you can really break through. So Kyle, tell us a little bit about this practice that you're going to guide us through.
Yeah, this is a really beautiful daily practice. I call it bubbling. I've learned it from one of my spiritual mentors, and it's a practice that allows us to reconnect with our own inner authentic power and putting an intention, a bubble around that power so that we can move through our day and perceive the world around us without internalizing it, without taking it on and claiming it as our own, so that we can remain empowered as we're going through our
This
life.
is it. So everybody type in the word bubbling in the chat box so you know what this is called. And I'm going to give the throne, I'm kidding, the seat over to Kyle as Kyle guides us through bubbling. And I'm just over here practicing with you all, so we love you.
First off, thank you so much for letting me be here and be of service to you. This is very special to me, and I know how beautiful this community is. So bubbling again, just what we're going to do is we're just going to take some deep breaths together and ground ourselves, center ourselves. And I think that you guys are all, yep.
I'm turning you up. Okay.
Yep. I think you guys are already in the space, right? We've been having some really good conversations here today that I think you're all plugged in and tapped in, turned on. So let's just start by taking some deep breaths. Go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose. Slow exhale out through your mouth. And just do a couple more of those. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Just letting your breath find its natural rhythm. Imagine a ball of infinite light floating above your head. And this light can be higher self or source or God or whatever your word is for it. Just imagine that light floating above your head and open up your crown chakra, the energy center at the top of your head, and just let that light pour into your body, filling you up from the inside out. So just imagine that bright white light filling up all the way down to your toes, filling up your legs, coming up your thighs and through your hips, allowing that light to swirl through your torso, filling you all the way up, overflowing down into your arms, filling up your chest and your back, coming all the way up through your neck, and at your own pace when it gets there, filling up your head and overflowing and coating the outside of your body. So coming all the way up to the top of your head, overflowing and coating the outside of your body. So now being fully filled up with this light, this love, and fully coated on the outside as well. On your next inhale, you're going to take that coating covering your outside and pull it close to you, hugging every inch of you. So inhale, pulling that light close. And on your exhale, blow that light out in a bubble around you, 2 feet in every direction. So blowing that bubble out 2 feet in front, behind, to the sides, above and below you. And on your next inhale, pulling that light close again, hugging every inch of you. Exhaling, blowing that bubble now out 4 feet in every direction, making it a little bigger this time. Inhaling one more time, pulling that light close to you, hugging you in every part. Exhaling and blowing that bubble out 6 feet now, every direction. Let's just rest here for a moment. Inside your bubble. Inside of your empowerment, your self-love. Grounded, rooted, connected. And just recognize that this is a space that you can always come back to. It's always here. You can always access it. And I want to now seal our bubbles. So what I like to do is I just imagine dumping a bucket of magical substance, a sealant, on top of the bubble and just letting it coat the outside. So just with your mind's eye, just seal your bubble, dump the sealant on top and let it coat the outside. And as you do, set the intention that your sealant is for protection, not disconnection. So it's for protection and clear connection, allowing us to connect clearly to the world around us without internalizing it, without taking it on, but allowing us to perceive and interact with the world around us while we remain true and authentic to ourselves, empowered, aligned. This practice is a beautiful way to start your day and to connect to your energy field. So what I want to do now is just coming out of this space with a few more breaths. So just taking in through your nose, out through your mouth again, just like we started. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And one more. And go ahead and come back into the room. And there's Justin. I see him now. And just, yeah. So this is a really beautiful practice to start your day, to remind yourself of who and what you are and connect up to your authentic, empowered place and be able to carry that through your day no matter what is happening. Allowing that intention of protection to call you back to yourself anytime you get knocked off your center. So.
Kyle, everybody thank Kyle. Alonzo already said this is a perfect practice before his show today. His anxiety has been acting up. You know, this is a really powerful, one of the things that I did, Kyle, is when you were like having us surround ourselves in like a magic substance or whatever it is, it to seal it is I always imagine roses, like rose petals, because rose is all about like raising the vibration. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, anything that's love, anything that's connection, the rose will have it come through, but anything that's not, it just gets filtered out and it stays right there at the roses.
And so I'll level up the sealant for you a little bit. You can just imagine what color it might be without judgment or without any labels. You can just notice the color that your sealant is, and that may direct you towards something that, like if it's pink, maybe heart chakra or green,
pink and yellow.
So just something to notice and play around with. The colors can mean something to your subconscious mind as well. So
this is a beautiful practice, you all. And like just yesterday, we were out at the river and there was this group of people who had kind of interesting energy, and you can use this at any time. Like we just stopped for a second and just did a quick bubble practice, right? And then we're ready to rock and roll and we're protected for the day. So thank you, Kyle.
Thank you all.
And
thank
for
you so much.
People who want to learn more about Kyle and his coaching, I'm putting a link here. You can go to his healing and coaching programs and just see more of his incredible work by just looking first through his Instagram, and then you can contact him that way. He has incredible programs, 3 months, 6 months, like lots of different things that help people break through, and it's amazing work. So I put his Instagram there. It's at Tennyzen, TENNYZEN. And everybody's saying, I imagine glitter dust, sparkly pink, sparkling rainbow stars.
Those are some beautiful bubbles.
Diamonds. Yeah, we got the sparkles here at the Kingdom. All right, so now we're going to welcome up Boy Untitled. These are all of our guests today. Isn't this fun, you guys? We had like 6 guests at the Kingdom today, so come on over here. Come on. So here is Boy Untitled, everybody. Say hello. And Boy Untitled is going to grace us with an incredible song that I love, that I've been hearing him practice all morning. And so can you tell us a little bit about this song?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Kingdom family. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm going to be singing a song today called What If, which I wrote at the beginning of the quarantine period when, all of the emotions were kind of racing through our minds. I mean, you and I were talking a lot at this point, and I actually got to perform this on the concert that you did.
Yeah.
But this song specifically, What If, is just simply about that question. There's so many things we're experiencing: grief, sadness, fear, anticipation, hope.
Yeah.
And to me, this idea of what if asks us, what if we imagine a world other than what we've currently experienced? And what if we allow ourselves to expand into new possibilities? What if we allow ourselves to fall down the hole into the shadows so that we can find who we truly are and what's on the other side of that?
And this is exactly what we've been talking about today. The
so
disorder to reorder. What if we allow ourselves to move through? So everybody, I'm going to just turn this back to normal. All right. So everybody, I'm giving it over to Boy Untitled. And I'm just getting us set up. Hold on. There we go. All right, I think we're ready to rock and roll. So everybody, hands up, type in the chat box, what if? This is the name of Boy Untitled song, and I'm putting a link in the chat box for those of you who want to learn more about him so that we don't forget to do that at the end. And without further ado, here's What If by Boy Untitled. You can just push that when you're ready.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna slink into this chair. Woo. Yeah, I feel like I am breaking, caught inside a storm. A smile that I'm faking, resilient and strong. But the world is caught on fire, and I'm trapped inside these walls. Yeah, I wanna feel alright and step into the sun. What if I decide to run? Who would I leave behind? What if I embrace the fall and find who I am inside? Every day it feels the same. I'm addicted to the noise when I have no one else to blame. Yeah, I gotta make a choice. And yet to all the ones I love, we all could do much more. Like the chrysalis undone, a new world is reborn. What if I decide to run? Who would I leave behind? What if I embrace the fall and find who I am inside? What if I look far beyond all that I've ever known? Ooh, I see it in you, I feel it in me. Yes, we have the chance to be. Yes, we have the chance to be. Are you coming back in?
Coming in. Stay here. And okay. Kyle's coming too. Everybody give it up for Boy Untitled in the chat.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. This is just amazing, everybody. All the gifts that are being shared today, all the power that's being shared today, all the magic that we're sharing as a community. And I hope that today's practice helps you understand, and today's lesson helps you understand that there really is no such thing as a breakdown. As long as you lean in to the lessons, let it reorder your life, let it help you step into your fears so that you can step more fully into the truth that is your life. And so we're all here, everybody's here loving you, goosebumps. You have goosebumps. I know, we saw on the side watching your own goosebumps. And so we love you all, and I'm putting links in the chat box to everybody's things here. We had Candida Rose, we had Cristi Christensen, Vanessa Boy Untitled, and Kyle Tennyson, Tenny Zen. Boom, everything's here for you all. I love you all so much. Let's close with our final prayer. Yes? Mm-hmm. All right. You want to lead us in anything, Kyle?
Go for it.
Okay. God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you for bringing us to what is the other side of our own disorders and breakdowns, so that we can experience the joy and magic that is this life. Thank you for guiding us here into our power and into our purpose, and through the dark night of the soul, we rise. From ashes to wings, we rise. From darkness to light, including the shadow, we rise. So it is Ashe, Aho, Salam, Satnam, Om, Awen. Thank you. Amen. We love you all so much.
Yes.
And we'll meet you right here, or at least I'll meet you right here in this special place next week. Mwah. Bye, Kingdom family. I love you.